All right. Hi, guys. I'm in complete shock after Joan's first speech here. See if I survive. I'm Nils, exactly. I think I've been an entrepreneur for about 10 years now. Started by complete accident. I met this weird guy at a bench outside an agency I was working for at the moment. And he had just founded a company called Pronto, which today is a digital communications agency. Back then, we were a word-of-mouth marketing agency. We were basically the first agency in the Nordics to start working with Web 2.0 before it was called social media. Basically, what we did was we harassed teenagers on Lunarstorm and Play Ahead. It was a really good business idea. People liked that for some reason. And we built an agency from that. Today, we're about 23 people, and I've decided to actually leave the company in about a month from now. We'll see what's going to happen. I've done a lot of different weird things. After meeting this guy, Gabriel, who's still my business partner, I sort of became addicted to ideas and entrepreneurship. So I launched a whole lot of shit, basically. Some of these things worked out, some did not. I think what I'm putting my focus on now is Pronto for another month. One song, the social music app, which hopefully will work out. I have a venture builder called Nils von Heijne, which is also brand new. And a lot of different things. I will not talk about fyllesamtal.se.
I used that once.
Not good for you. That's a fuck up all on its own, but I'm happy to answer any questions about that later on. I want to focus on these three lower ones, which all represent, well, they represent three different fuck ups, basically. It's Kioskbolaget, Magazine Productions, and U-Tales. I will tell the short stories of these three highly failed ventures. When I was about 23, I guess, I had this friend. He's a farmer and a musician. It's a weird combo. So he's a farmer and a musician, and he has this barn outside of Stockholm. And back then he told me he wanted to build a music studio inside the barn. I thought that's the most amazing idea I've ever heard. I'm going to invest heavily in this idea. All the money I had at the time, which was not a lot of money, went into this weird sort of startup idea. So the idea was build a music studio inside a barn. There were cows on the lower floor, and then a music studio on top of that. Rent it out to musicians. Makes sense. I had a good idea of live streaming 24/7 from the studio, and we would have artists come in and do sponsored gigs, I guess. Great. I invested, I think it was 20,000 SEK, which was a lot of money for me as a 23-year-old. Basically everything I had to buy studio equipment. It was me, my friend, and his band of random weird dudes that I had never met before. And I think the first week we were still building this studio. We were contacted by a Swedish band that were big in the 80s and 70s called Bulldog. Some people are old enough to remember them. I was not. I didn't know who they were. But they wanted us to, for some reason, help them do like a comeback show, a concert. So we said, sure, we'll do it. We'll rent a space, a venue, we'll invite people, we'll charge them money, and we'll take part of the earnings. Said and done, did that, worked perfectly. Went back, kept building the studio, and I think maybe a month later, I got a letter from the Swedish Enforcement Authority, Kronofogden. Because this company, it was not an aktiebolag, not a limited company. It was a handelsbolag. That's fuck up number one. Never start a handelsbolag. Because you're personally liable for the finances of the company. And I got this letter saying, hey, you owe some people 30,000 SEK and you have to pay it in 10 days. Or you get a prick, as it's called in Sweden. You don't want to get that. That's bad. I was 23 years old. I was facing this debt. I didn't know what it was from, but I had to pay it in 10 days. And we eventually found out that my friend or one of the guys in the band had taken upon himself to sort of continue the success of the Dag Vag concert and book a concert of his own for an artist that was completely unknown, book a venue that was really costly, try to invite people, but no one showed up, and did not inform the rest of the company that he had done that. Instead, he fled the country, went to Norway and just waited. So we couldn't get a hold of him. We just paid the money, tried to figure out what had happened, but that was more than the money we had in the company. So that Bulldog went completely bankrupt. That was fuck up number 1, Magazine Productions, and yeah, we're never going to see that company again. Fuck up number 2. During the early days of Pronto, me and my business partner Gabriel sort of started a new company every week inside Pronto. So Pronto was digital communications, but we could somehow fit any kind of business into that. We had a store selling Japanese vintage clothing. We had a bread delivery service called Änglabröd that delivered bread to people every Saturday morning. And then we founded Kioskbolaget. It literally happened in 20 minutes. We were in the car going from Örebro to Stockholm from a client meeting, and we started talking about kiosks, kiosker, you know, Pressbyrån, 7-Eleven, tiny stores that sell candy and tobacco and magazines. And we were like, why are there only like 3 major players in this space? 7-Eleven, Pressbyrån, and what else is there? Something else. Why doesn't anyone start a new company like that? And we realized there are a lot of these tiny kiosks all around the country that only has one owner. You know, these small red huts where this lonely entrepreneur sells hot dogs to people. So we thought if we buy all of those, we could create a really great company because they have perfect locations in small cities. We didn't really have that much money back then. I think we were 25 around this time. We were in the car, so we'd say, okay, how much does one of these cost? Go to blocket.se, find a kiosk in Enköping for 100,000 SEK, buy it in 5 minutes. So all of a sudden we owned this kiosk in Enköping. And we went there, we met the people who were working there, because there were people working there, and we had to hire them, apparently, because that was the law. So we hired these random strangers we had never met before. This is the actual space. We had this idea of creating a sort of 50s themed kiosk with Beatles music playing all the time. We were really sort of high on concepts back then. So we rebuilt the entire kiosk. Only thing was the people who worked there didn't really understand what the hell we were doing or who we were. These random guys from Stockholm, they had been working there for 2 years. Everything was normal. Then we came in and said, we own this place. You have to play Beatles music 24/7. So we sold candy and ice cream and magazines and stuff like that. We probably had a turnover of maybe 20,000 SEK a month. And then we also sold bus tickets. And that was the law, because there's a local bus company in Enköping, and this kiosk has such a good location that you need to sell the bus tickets there. So we had to sell bus tickets, and every month we'd get a new delivery of bus tickets from the bus company. And we sort of started to feel doubtful about our employees, because we were in Stockholm and they were in Enköping running the show. And we would get calls saying the kiosk is not open, there's no one there, there's a sign saying out to lunch that's up all day. So we were starting to get worried, but before we did anything about that, something really bad happened. There was a break-in in the kiosk the night after we had a new delivery of bus tickets, and bus tickets were stolen for the value of 300,000 SEK. Yeah, that was bad. So basically, we had to pay 300,000 SEK in a matter of 30 days. Our turnover was 20,000 SEK, which almost killed Pronto. We were barely surviving after that. And then, of course, we had to close everything down. Then our employees sued us, so we had to pay them money as well. And now that company's gone. Fuck up number 2, never trust people in Enköping. Fuck up, let's see. There's one slide missing, so I'll talk about that without the visual. Fuck up number 3, U-tails. So fuck up number 1, I basically risked all my own money. Fuck up number 2, we also almost killed our own company. Fuck up number 3, I wasted other people's money. Way better. So U-tails, this is 4 years ago. I realized I wanted to change the children's book industry. So we created a website called utails.com where we broke all the rules of the children's book children's book industry. So it was a crowdsourced site. Anyone could create a digital picture book for kids that you could read on the iPad, which had just come out. You could buy them, you could subscribe to them, anyone could create it. It was a perfect site for people who want to create picture books. So we had like 3,000 US middle-aged women creating picture books on this website, and no one bought them whatsoever. But we still were really good at exciting people about this idea. So we took on an investment of a little over 1 million SEK for this idea that never took off. And I also built a team. I was super excited about this idea. So I took on anyone who wanted to join. And I needed a CTO, a guy who would lead the development and build everything for me. I met this guy I'd never met before through recommendations. And we said, let's build this company together. Did it for 10 months. Then took on investment, then launched the website. 2 weeks after launching the website, that guy left. But he did not leave his share in the company because he was protected by an agreement saying that his 20% he could keep even though he didn't work. Which meant I couldn't sell those to any new tech guy. I couldn't keep building the website, and all of my time went to taking care of the investors because they wanted to make money in like 6 months. And we had this failing website that didn't make any money at all. So my entire focus was keeping them happy. I was just sending reports every day to them saying, it's not going well, but soon it will. And I kept doing that. I even kept the company alive for 4 years, making no money, because I felt so bad that I had wasted all of their money. So it actually was put down a little over a month ago, because I felt now they probably forgot about it now. They probably won't kill me. That's fuck up number 3. And I think the lesson in all of these fuck ups, except for don't trust people in Enköping, is don't trust other people. I can easily blame all of these fuck ups on other people, which is good. But I hopefully will realize that I'm part of the problem here. I was too excited about the idea that I didn't focus enough on the team and the people. And I didn't spend enough time actually explaining the visions and making sure that everyone was aligned in what we wanted to do. So going from almost wasting all my own money, almost killing my own company, and then wasting other people's money, I think that's the main lesson here. Don't trust yourself, but trust other people. Thank you.